It's a quiet evening at home. My wife, Sarah, is sitting on the couch, her eyes glued to the screen as she watches some true crime documentary. I've always admired her dedication to her work as a detective in the local police department. Her commitment is unwavering, almost like a calling, and I've always respected that. I'm in the kitchen, preparing a light dinner for us. The smell of roasted chicken fills the air, and the soft hum of the dishwasher is the only sound breaking the silence. I glance at the clock, it's already past 7. We usually have our dinners a little late, but tonight, there's a strange tension in the air that I can't quite put my finger on. Just as I'm about to call her for dinner, her phone buzzes loudly on the coffee table. Sarah picks it up, her brows furrowing as she reads the message. "Everything okay?" I ask, trying to keep my tone casual, though the curiosity and concern tug at me. "It's work," she replies, her voice clipped. "I have to go in for an interrogation." "An interrogation? At this hour?" She nods, her eyes avoiding mine. "Yeah, something urgent came up." She stands up and heads toward the bedroom, leaving me in the living room with a plate of now lukewarm chicken. I watch her disappear down the hall, a sense of unease settling in the pit of my stomach. A few minutes later, Sarah emerges, wearing her dark, authoritative work attire. Her badge gleams under the overhead lights, and she slips her service weapon into the holster with practiced ease. "Are you sure everything's okay?" I probe again, unable to shake off the nagging feeling that something's amiss. "It's just work, Mike," she assures me, forcing a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. "I'll be back as soon as I can." Before I can press further, she's out the door, leaving a gust of cool evening air in her wake. I stand there, staring at the closed door, 1,000 questions swirling in my mind. I try to shake it off, but the unease lingers. Sarah's always been dedicated, but there was something different about her tonight. Something off. I pace around the kitchen, glancing at the clock every few minutes. An hour passes, then another. My mind starts to concoct wild scenarios, none of them comforting. Unable to resist the growing suspicion, I grab my car keys and decide to follow her. Maybe I'm being paranoid, but something doesn't sit right with me, and I need to know what's really going on. The police station is only a 15-minute drive from our house, but it feels like an eternity. As I pull into the parking lot, I see her car parked in its usual spot. Relief washes over me, mixed with a twinge of guilt for doubting her. I park a few spaces away and watch the building, waiting for any sign of her. The station is eerily quiet, with only a few lights on inside. I check my watch again. It's almost 10 now. Just as I'm about to head back home, I hear a commotion coming from the side of the building. Voices, raised and agitated, break the silence. I step out of the car, curiosity and anxiety pushing me toward the source of the noise. The voices grow louder as I approach the interrogation wing of the station. A man's scream echoes through the hallway, followed by a sharp, muffled cry. My heart pounds in my chest. Something is definitely wrong here. Without thinking, I burst through the door to the interrogation room, my breath catching in my throat at the scene unfolding before me. Sarah stands there, half naked, in a state of disarray that I never imagined. A man is handcuffed to the table, a gag in his mouth, his eyes wide with a mix of terror and confusion. My wife is holding a truncheon, her expression one of raw defiance. "Sarah!" I shout, my voice bouncing off the sterile walls. "What the hell is going on here?" She turns to me, her face pale, as if she's been caught in the act of something unspeakable. The room is silent except for the man's muffled cries and the harsh breathing of my wife. "This is how you do interrogations?" I demand, my voice a mix of anger and disbelief. "I can barely process what I'm seeing." Sarah drops the truncheon as if it burns her hand, stepping back from the table. Her eyes dart between me and the man, panic written all over her face. "It's not what it looks like, Mike," she pleads, but I can hear the tremor in her voice, the lie she's trying to cover up. "Not what it looks like?" I echo, my voice rising. "What the hell am I supposed to think, Sarah?" The man, still gagged and restrained, makes a desperate noise, drawing my attention back to him. He looks helpless, a pawn in whatever twisted game is being played here. Who is he? I demand, taking a step closer, feeling the heat of anger coursing through my veins. And what are you doing to him? She hesitates, and in that moment, I see the truth unraveling before me. The betrayal, the deceit, all of it crashing down like a wave. I'm sorry, Mike, Sarah finally says, her voice barely above a whisper. I didn't mean for you to find out like this. The weight of her confession hits me like a punch to the gut. This isn't just about an interrogation gone wrong. This is about us, about everything we built together, and the betrayal that now stands between us. Sorry? I say, my voice breaking. Sorry doesn't even begin to cover it, Sarah. I turn away, my mind racing with thoughts of revenge, of how to make her pay for this betrayal. But most of all, I feel the pain of a love that's been shattered, a trust that can never be repaired. The room spins as I stumble out, my world crumbling around me. I know what I have to do. I'll ruin her career, make her regret ever breaking my heart. Divorce is just the beginning. Our paths will never cross again. Not after this. As I leave the station, I glance back one last time. The woman I thought I knew is a stranger now, and I'm determined to reclaim my life, no matter the cost. Outside, the night air is crisp and biting against my skin. I take a deep breath, the cold filling my lungs and numbing the turmoil within me. The distant sounds of traffic are a dull roar in my ears, the world moving on oblivious to the chaos that has just erupted in my life. I drive home in a daze, my mind replaying the scene over and over, each loop igniting a fresh wave of anger and betrayal. The woman I loved, trusted, is now a ghost haunting the edges of my thoughts. When I reach our house, I sit in the driveway for a moment, staring at the home we built together. It feels foreign now, just like everything else. I need a plan, a way to move forward from this mess. Inside, I pour myself a stiff drink, the amber liquid a temporary balm to the chaos swirling inside me. I think about Sarah, about the choices that led to this moment, and the cold resolve that starts to harden in my chest. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. As the clock ticks toward midnight, I start to formulate a plan. I'll expose her for what she is, ruin her career, and take back control of my life. It's not just about revenge, it's about justice, about making sure she pays for tearing apart everything we had. I down the drink, the burn fueling my determination. Tomorrow, I'll start setting things in motion. I'll gather evidence, talk to her colleagues, do whatever it takes to bring her down. She's crossed a line, and there's no going back. Sleep eludes me that night, my mind too restless to find peace. My mind too restless to each passing hour a reminder of the betrayal and the road that lies ahead. But beneath the anger and the hurt, a flicker of something else emerges, a resolve to reclaim my life, to rebuild and rise above the ashes of what once was. Dawn breaks, casting a pale light across the room. I rise, determined to face whatever comes next with a clear mind and a steadfast heart. This is the beginning of a new chapter, one where I'm in control and nothing will stand in my way. The path to reclaiming my life won't be easy, but I'm ready to fight. For myself, for the future I deserve. And as the first light of day streams through the window, I know one thing for certain, this is far from over. The sun has barely risen when I make my way to the station, a grim sense of purpose driving each step. My mind is clear, the night's turmoil now replaced by a focused determination. Face whatever comes next with Sarah, to gather the evidence I need to ensure her downfall. The station buzzes with the usual morning activity, officers chatting over coffee, detectives reviewing case files, and the steady hum of police radios filling the air. It's a place I've visited often to meet Sarah after her shifts, but today, everything feels different, like walking into enemy territory. I nod at a few familiar faces as I make my way toward the offices at the back, where the detectives usually congregate. I'm not here to make small talk, I have a mission. As I near Sarah's office, I overhear voices coming from inside. I pause just outside the door, straining to catch the conversation. The door is slightly ajar. and I peer through the gap to see Sarah and her partner, Detective Jake Thompson. "I told you, Jake, it's under control," Sarah says, her voice tense. She looks tired, shadows under her eyes, and there's a strain in her demeanor I've never noticed before. "You sure about that?" Jake replies, skepticism etched on his face. "Last night was a close call. You need to be more careful." My heart races at the confirmation that there's more going on here than I initially thought. Jake's involvement is unexpected, but it could be useful. I lean closer, careful not to make a sound. "I've got it handled," Sarah insists, though her voice wavers slightly. "Just stick to the plan, and everything will be fine." "What about Mike?" Jake asks, glancing toward the door as if sensing my presence. "You know he's not just gonna let this slide." Sarah sighs, running a hand through her hair. "I'll deal with Mike. He doesn't know anything yet." I step back from the door, my mind racing with possibilities. Whatever they're involved in, it's bigger than I imagined, and I need more information before confronting her. There's too much at stake, and I can't afford to make a mistake. I decide to head to the precinct's tech department. If I can access Sarah's computer or phone records, I might find something concrete to use against her. I've never done anything like this before, but desperation pushes me forward. The tech department is a small, cluttered room filled with computer monitors and tangled wires. A young officer, Kevin, is hunched over a desk, typing furiously. He's new to the precinct, eager to make a name for himself. "Hey, Kevin," I greet him, trying to sound casual. "Got a minute?" He looks up, surprised to see me. "Mike, right? Sarah's husband?" "That's me," I say with a forced smile. "I'm working on something and need a favor. Can you help me out?" Kevin hesitates, glancing around as if expecting someone to pop in and catch us. "What kind of favor?" "I need access to some records," I explain, keeping my tone light. "Sarah's been acting strange, and I think something's up. Can you pull up her recent communications?" Kevin frowns, clearly uncomfortable with the request. "I don't know, Mike. That sounds like a breach of privacy. I could get in serious trouble." I lean in, lowering my voice. "Look, Kevin, I wouldn't ask if it wasn't important. Just this once, as a favor to me. I'll owe you." He sighs, conflicted, but finally nods. "All right, but you didn't get this from me." Kevin types furiously, and soon lines of data fill the screen. My heart pounds as I scan through Sarah's recent calls and messages, looking for anything that stands out. Among the routine work communications, a string of encrypted messages catches my eye. "What's this?" I ask, pointing to the unusual entries. Kevin frowns, adjusting his glasses. "Those are encrypted. Not standard police protocol. Could be anything. Can you decrypt them?" I ask, my curiosity piqued. He hesitates, but then starts typing again. "It'll take a few minutes. Just keep an eye on the door." I nod, standing guard while Kevin works his magic. Each passing second feels like an eternity, my nerves fraying with anticipation. Finally, the screen flashes, revealing a series of messages that make my blood run cold. The decrypted messages reveal a series of conversations between Sarah and an unknown contact, discussing payments and arranging meetings. The language is cryptic, but the implications are clear. They're talking about something illegal, something dangerous. "I can't believe this," I mutter, reading through the exchanges. My heart sinks as I realize the depth of Sarah's betrayal. "Looks like she's in deep," Kevin comments, shaking his head. "You gonna confront her?" "Not yet," I reply, determination hardening my resolve. "I need more proof. Something that'll hold up if this goes to court." I thank Kevin for his help, promising to keep him out of it as much as possible. As I leave the tech department, my mind races with possibilities. Sarah isn't just cheating on me, she's involved in something much bigger and far more dangerous than I could have imagined. I need to talk to someone I can trust, someone who knows the ins and outs of police work and can help me navigate this treacherous path. There's only one person who fits that description, Detective Marcus Bell, an old friend and a seasoned investigator. Marcus is one of the few people I trust completely. We've known each other for years, having met when I was still working as a journalist. He's seen the darker side of law enforcement and knows how to dig up dirt when necessary. I call him on my way to his office, my hand shaking slightly as I grip the steering wheel. Marcus picks up on the second ring, his voice calm and steady. "Mike, what's going on?" he asks, concern evident in his tone. "I need your help, Marcus," I say, my voice tense with urgency. "It's about Sarah." "Meet me at my office," he replies without hesitation. "We'll figure this out together." Marcus's office is a cluttered space filled with case files and framed commendations. He greets me with a firm handshake, his expression serious as he takes in my disheveled appearance. "Tell me everything," he says, gesturing for me to sit. I recount the events of the past few days, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside. Marcus listens intently, occasionally jotting down notes on a yellow legal pad. When I finish, he leans back in his chair, contemplating the situation. "This is serious, Mike. If Sarah's involved in something illegal, it could blow up in her face, and yours." "I know," I reply, the weight of the situation settling heavily on my shoulders. "That's why I need your help. I can't let her drag me down with her." Marcus nods, his mind working through the details. "We need to find out who she's communicating with and what they're planning. If we can uncover that, we might have a chance to stop whatever's happening." I agree, feeling a spark of hope amid the chaos. Marcus is a skilled investigator, and with his help, we might be able to unravel the web of deceit surrounding Sarah. "What's our next move?" I ask, eager to take action. "I'll start looking into these encrypted messages, see if we can trace the contact," Marcus says, his voice firm with determination. "In the meantime, you should lay low. Don't confront Sarah until we have concrete evidence." The plan is set, and for the first time since this ordeal began, I feel a sense of purpose. It's not just about revenge anymore, it's about uncovering the truth and protecting myself from the fallout. As I leave Marcus's office, I'm more determined than ever to see this through. Sarah has crossed a line, and I won't rest until I've uncovered every secret, every lie that's been woven into our lives. Back at home, I find myself staring at the walls, the weight of everything pressing down on me. I pour myself another drink, the burn of the alcohol a welcome distraction from the chaos swirling in my mind. I know I can't keep living like this, constantly looking over my shoulder, questioning everything I thought I knew. This isn't just about Sarah's betrayal, it's about reclaiming my life and finding a way to move forward, no matter the cost. As night falls, I sit in the dark, my mind racing with possibilities. The path ahead is uncertain, fraught with danger and deception, but I know one thing for sure: I won't let Sarah or anyone else destroy what's left of my life. Tomorrow is a new day, and I'm ready to face whatever comes with a clear mind and a determined heart. This fight is far from over, and I'm prepared to do whatever it takes to uncover the truth and reclaim my future. The morning air is crisp as I step out of my house, a renewed sense of purpose coursing through my veins. Marcus has agreed to meet me later at a local coffee shop, but I can't sit idle until then. There's too much at stake, and I need to feel like I'm making progress. I decide to swing by Sarah's favorite cafe before heading to the precinct, hoping to catch a glimpse of her morning routine. Maybe I can glean something from her interactions, or maybe I just need to see her in a different light to remind myself of the truth I uncovered. The cafe is bustling with people grabbing their morning caffeine fix. I spot Sarah at a corner table, her face buried in a newspaper, a half-empty cup of coffee in front of her. She looks the same as ever, calm, composed, the consummate professional. But now I know it's all a facade. As I watch her, a tall man in a suit approaches her table. He's unfamiliar to me, with an air of confidence that makes him stand out. Sarah looks up, her expression neutral, but there's a tension in her shoulders that speaks volumes. I inch closer, careful not to draw attention, straining to hear their conversation over the clatter of cups and the murmur of voices. "Everything's on track?" the man asks, his voice low and controlled. Sarah nods, her eyes flicking around as if ensuring no one is eavesdropping. "Yes, but we need to be cautious. Mike is getting suspicious." The man chuckles, a cold sound that makes my skin crawl. "Handle him. We can't afford any loose ends now." I clench my fists, anger and betrayal mixing into a volatile cocktail inside me. Who is this guy, and how deep does this rabbit hole go? Just as I'm contemplating my next move, my phone vibrates in my pocket. It's a text from Marcus, change of plans. "Meet me at the old warehouse on Elm. Something's come up." The message sends a chill down my spine. Marcus doesn't call for off-the-grid meetings unless it's serious. I steal one last glance at Sarah and the mysterious man before slipping out of the cafe, determined to uncover the next layer of this conspiracy. The old warehouse on Elm is a relic from the town's industrial past, now serving as a hideout for those who need privacy away from prying eyes. I park my car a block away and approach cautiously, the quiet of the deserted street amplifying every sound. Marcus is already there, leaning against the rusted metal door, his expression grim. As I draw closer, he waves me inside, his demeanor more tense than usual. "What's going on?" I ask, trying to read his face for any clues. "Take a look at this," Marcus says, handing me a folder filled with documents and photographs. "I've been digging into Sarah's encrypted messages. There's more to this than we thought." I open the folder, my eye scanning the contents. It's a series of surveillance photos showing Sarah meeting with various people, none of whom I recognize. There are also financial records showing large sums of money being transferred to offshore accounts. Money laundering? I suggest, my voice barely above a whisper. Among other things, Marcus confirms. It seems Sarah is part of a network involved in drug trafficking and money laundering. The man you saw with her at the cafe, his name is Victor Santos. He's a known player in the underground crime world. The pieces of the puzzle fall into place, and I feel a mix of disbelief and anger. Sarah isn't just betraying me, she's betraying everything she stands for as a police officer. We need to bring this to the authorities, I say, feeling the weight of the evidence in my hands. We can't let her continue down this path. Marcus nods, but there's a flicker of hesitation in his eyes. I agree, but we need to be careful. This isn't just about Sarah. If she's involved, there's a good chance others in the department are too. His words hit me like a punch to the gut. The thought of corruption within the police force is something I hadn't considered, but now it seems all too possible. Who else could be involved? I ask, my mind racing with possibilities. I'm not sure yet, Marcus admits, his voice heavy with concern. But we need to find out before we make any moves. If we go to the wrong person, it could blow up in our faces. The implications are staggering, and the stakes have never been higher. I know we're walking a dangerous line, but there's no turning back now. Not with everything I've learned. Okay, I say, steeling myself for what lies ahead. What's our next step? Marcus pulls out a map, spreading it across a makeshift table. We need to gather more evidence, something concrete that ties Sarah and Santos to their operations. I've identified a few locations they've been frequenting. We should start there. I nod, feeling a sense of resolve despite the uncertainty of our mission. Let's do it. Whatever it takes, we need to bring them down. As we plan our next move, the weight of the situation presses down on me. But there's also a sense of clarity, a determination to see this through, no matter the cost. We agree to meet later that evening, after I've had a chance to scout one of the locations Marcus identified. As I leave the warehouse, a sense of unease settles over me. The road ahead is fraught with danger, but I know I can't back down. Not now, not when we're so close to the truth. The afternoon sun hangs low in the sky as I drive toward the first location, a nondescript building on the outskirts of town. According to Marcus, it's a front for one of Santos's operations, and if we're lucky, it might hold the evidence we need. I park a safe distance away, using a pair of binoculars to survey the area. The building looks ordinary enough, but there's a steady stream of people coming and going, their faces obscured by hats and sunglasses. As I watch, a black SUV pulls up, and two men get out, their demeanor tense and alert. They exchange a few words with someone at the entrance before disappearing inside. I snap a few photos, hoping they'll provide some insight later. My heart pounds with adrenaline, but I know I need to stay focused, to gather as much information as possible without getting caught. Just as I'm about to leave, I spot a familiar figure stepping out of the building. It's Sarah, her expression serious as she talks on her phone, her eyes scanning the area as if she senses someone watching. I duck down, my heart racing as she lingers by the entrance, oblivious to my presence. Seeing her here, in the thick of whatever illegal activities are taking place, solidifies my resolve. This is bigger than just a marital betrayal. It's a betrayal of the law, of the community she swore to protect. And it's my duty to ensure she faces the consequences. When Sarah finally leaves, I breathe a sigh of relief and make my way back to the car. My mind is a whirlwind of thoughts as I drive to meet Marcus, eager to share what I've discovered and plan our next move. The coffee shop is quieter now, the evening crowd yet to arrive is quieter now, Marcus is already there, nursing a cup of coffee and scanning the news on his phone. He looks up as I enter, his expression a mix of curiosity and concern. "Any luck?" he asks as I slide into the seat opposite him. I show him the photos, my voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through me. "I saw her there, Marcus. At the building. She's in deep." Marcus studies the images, his expression growing more serious with each passing moment. "This is good, Mike. But we need more. Something that ties her and Santos directly to their operations." We spend the next hour strategizing, piecing together the information we have and identifying our next targets. It's a dangerous game we're playing, but with each step, the truth becomes clearer and our resolve stronger. As night falls, I leave the coffee shop, a sense of determination guiding me home. There's no turning back now. I'm in this fight to the end, and I won't stop until Sarah and her accomplices are brought to justice. The road ahead is uncertain, but with Marcus by my side, I know we have a fighting chance. Together, we'll uncover the truth and ensure that those who betrayed us face the consequences of their actions. At home, I sit in the darkness, my mind replaying the events of the day. The gravity of the situation weighs heavily on me, but there's also a sense of hope, a belief that justice will prevail, no matter the cost. I pour myself another drink, the burn of the alcohol a reminder of the battle yet to come. Tomorrow is a new day, and with it, a new opportunity to fight for the truth and reclaim my life. As I drift off to sleep, I hold on to that thought, knowing that whatever happens, I'm ready to face it head on. The fight for justice has only just begun, and I won't rest until the truth is finally revealed. The sun rises with a golden hue, casting long shadows across the quiet streets. It's the day that everything changes. The day I confront the web of lies and deception that has entangled my life. After weeks of planning and gathering evidence, Marcus and I are ready to bring Sarah and her accomplices down. I arrive at the precinct early, adrenaline coursing through my veins. Marcus meets me in the parking lot, his expression grim but determined. "Today's the day, Mike," he says, clasping my shoulder in solidarity. "We've got enough to make our move." I nod, the weight of what we're about to do settling heavily on my shoulders. "Let's finish this." We enter the building, the familiar hum of police work surrounding us. Marcus leads the way to the conference room, where we've arranged to meet with Captain Harding, the head of internal affairs. He's an old-school cop, known for his no-nonsense approach and unwavering dedication to justice. As we step into the room, Captain Harding looks up from a stack of files, his gaze sharp and assessing. "Detective Bell, Mike," he greets us, his voice gravelly. "You've got something for me?" Marcus hands over the folder of evidence we've painstakingly compiled. "Sir, we've uncovered a network of corruption within the department, involving drug trafficking and money laundering. We have reason to believe Detective Sarah Miller is at the center of it." Harding's eyes widen as he flips through the documents, his expression growing more serious with each passing moment. "This is serious, Bell. If what you're saying is true, this could blow the department wide open." "It's true, Captain," I interject, my voice steady. "I've seen it firsthand. We need to act quickly before they catch wind of what we're doing." Harding nods, the weight of the situation clear on his face. "All right. I'll set up a sting operation. We need to catch them in the act if we're going to make this stick." The plan is set in motion, and the next few hours blur into a whirlwind of preparations. The entire precinct buzzes with anticipation as the team assembles, ready to bring down the network from within. As we wait for the final go-ahead, Marcus and I go over the details one last time, ensuring that nothing is left to chance. "You ready for this?" Marcus asks, his tone both reassuring and probing. I nod, my resolve unshaken. "I've never been more ready." "It's time Sarah answers for what she's done." The sting operation is set to take place at one of the known warehouses used by Santos and his crew. We've arranged for Sarah to be there, under the guise of another meeting, but this time, she won't be walking away. As we approach the location, the tension is palpable. Officers are strategically positioned, ready to move in at a moment's notice. Marcus and I wait in an unmarked car, our eyes trained on the entrance. "This is it," Marcus murmurs, his gaze fixed on the warehouse. We watch as a line of cars approaches, pulling up in front of the building. Among them is the black SUV I've come to associate with Santos's operations. My heart pounds in my chest, anticipation and dread mingling into a volatile mix. The doors open, and Sarah steps out, her expression as unreadable as ever. She moves with the practiced ease of someone who's been doing this for far too long, unaware of the trap closing in around her. "On my mark," Marcus says into the radio, his voice a quiet command that sends a shiver down my spine. We wait, the seconds stretching into eternity. Finally, as Sarah enters the warehouse, Marcus gives the signal. The team moves in swiftly, surrounding the building with practiced precision. "Police?" Hands where we can see them, a voice booms through the air, followed by the sounds of scuffling and shouts. I'm out of the car before I realize it, my feet carrying me toward the scene unfolding inside. The warehouse is a flurry of activity, officers securing the area, apprehending suspects, and confiscating evidence. In the midst of it all, Sarah stands frozen, her eyes wide with disbelief as she's handcuffed and led away. The betrayal etched on her face mirrors my own feelings, a painful reminder of everything that's been lost. I watch as they lead her out, our eyes meeting briefly. In that moment, there's a flicker of something, regret, anger, perhaps even a plea for understanding. But it's too late for that now. The damage is done. "Mike," she calls out, her voice a mix of desperation and defiance. "This isn't what you think. I can explain." I shake my head, the weight of her betrayal crushing any sympathy I might have felt. "Explain it to the judge, Sarah. We're done." Her face falls, the finality of my words hitting her like a physical blow. I turn away, refusing to let her see the pain that still lingers beneath my anger. Back at the precinct, the atmosphere is electric with the aftermath of the operation. The department is in chaos, the shockwaves of the corruption scandal rippling through every level. Marcus and I debrief with Captain Harding, who commends us on our work, but there's no sense of victory in his voice. Only the grim realization of the long road ahead. "You did good, both of you," Harding says, his tone somber. "But this is just the beginning. We've got a lot of work to do to clean up this mess." I nod, the weight of his words echoing in my mind. There's a sense of closure, but it's bittersweet, a reminder of what was lost and what can never be reclaimed. As I leave the precinct, the evening sun casts long shadows across the parking lot. The air is heavy with the scent of rain, the promise of a storm looming on the horizon. I find Marcus leaning against his car, a contemplative look on his face. "You did the right thing, Mike," he says, his voice steady and reassuring. "It's not easy, but it's what needed to be done." I nod, grateful for his unwavering support. "Thanks, Marcus. I couldn't have done it without you." He claps me on the shoulder, a silent acknowledgement of the bond forged through the trials we faced together. "Take care of yourself, Mike. And remember, you're not alone." As Marcus drives away, I stand there for a moment, letting the reality of everything sink in. The storm in the sky mirrors the storm in my heart, a tumultuous mix of emotions I can't quite name. But there's also a sense of peace, a quiet acceptance of what's happened and the knowledge that I've done everything I can to set things right. I take a deep breath, the cool air filling my lungs, and make my way home. It's time to rebuild, to move forward from the ashes of betrayal and find a way to reclaim my life. The days pass in a blur of legal proceedings and media frenzy, the scandal making headlines across the city. Sarah is charged with a myriad of offenses, her once respected reputation in ruins. I watch from afar, a spectator to the fallout of her choices. Our paths diverge, a chasm of betrayal and hatred separating us forever. There's no going back, no chance for reconciliation. Only the harsh reality of the consequences she must face. On the day of the trial, I sit in the courtroom, a silent witness to the proceedings. The prosecution presents the evidence with brutal clarity, each revelation a reminder of the deceit that shattered our lives. Sarah sits at the defense table, her demeanor composed but weary. The facade of control she once wore is gone, replaced by the stark reality of her situation. As the verdict is read, the courtroom is silent, the weight of the moment pressing down on everyone present. Sarah is found guilty on all counts, the sentence harsh but justified. There's no triumph in my heart, only a sense of closure, a final chapter in a story that's taken everything from me. As I leave the courthouse, I feel a sense of liberation, a release from the chains of betrayal that once bound me. Outside, the sun shines brightly, a stark contrast to the darkness that once clouded my life. I take a deep breath, the fresh air a balm to my weary soul. I know the road ahead won't be easy, but I'm ready to face it. Ready to rebuild and find a new path, free from the shadows of the past. As I walk away from the courthouse, I leave behind the remnants of a life that no longer exists. The future stretches out before me, uncertain but full of possibilities. And as I step into that future, I carry with me the lessons of the past and the strength to forge a new beginning. For myself, and for the life I deserve. The chapter closes on a note of hope and renewal, the promise of a brighter tomorrow. The storm has passed, and in its wake, a new dawn rises, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of redemption.